Hey, yo, clap it. Yeah. It's that rare occasion when a mega million billion dollar company does something good, and it really forces you to ask questions like, dang, am I really about to give them a W? Yeah, we about to give them a W. How you guys doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to talk about something. I'm tired. It's Thursday, y'all. But hey, we made it. We made it. Clap it. I don't know if anyone's told you this today, but I'm proud of you. I know you fucked up on Monday, but I'm proud of you. The FDA, Apple had their event, right? And the event was to let out the new iPhone 16. They added the TLDRs. They added a new button, new watch, new headphones, and all of the phones will be, and computers, laptops, pads, they'll all be coming with Apple Intelligence, which makes it AI compatible with ChatGPT and a host of other things. And they have these new NPU chips, yada, yada, yada. They are designed to take on the software. And this is one of the first times I think Apple on a large scale has said buy this product for the following software updates. And they really did go out on a limb and say and put in the engineering and the ingenuity into making a device that they didn't have cleared by the FDA. And now that it has been cleared, they can now move forward with this, but this is by far one of the more riskier investments you've ever seen Apple probably do. And it, once again, there was nothing guaranteeing that this would be accepted. So let's find out what Apple did, why the FDA authorized it. And I have 2 points here where it kind of begs the question, what would be the alternative? The FDA authorized first OTC hearing aid software to be used in Apple's AirPods Pro. This came out today, September 12th. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Thursday authorized the first over-the-counter hearing aid software that is intended to be used with compatibility versions of the Apple AirPods Pro headphones. Earlier this week, Apple said that its AirPods Pros 2 could now be transformed into a personalized hearing aid via the upcoming software update that would boost specific sounds in real time, including parts of speech and elements within users' environments. New hearing health features will be available this fall for AirPods Pro 2 users in more than 100 countries and regions, Apple has said. Once installed and customized the user hearing needs, the software enables versions of Apple AirPods Pro to serve as OTC hearing aids that is intended to amplify sounds for 18 years or older people with perceived mild to moderate hearing impairment. So this is very important right here. From mild to moderate impaired hearing. This would grant people who couldn't pass the hearing aspect. If you failed the hearing aspect, the audio version of driving, these earbuds would literally give you the ability to pass the test. It would literally give people who have been deemed legally deaf the ability to pass that test, which gives a whole new meaning to accessibility. But I also know in some states, and this is going to be very tricky, we'll talk about it, but I know in some states, you can't drive with headphones in. And now that these have become OTC compliant headphones, do they have to take that off the books? Hearing loss is significant and public health issue impacting millions of Americans, said Michelle Taver, acting director of FDA Center for Disease and Radiological Health. more than 30 million American adults report some degree of hearing loss, which can be caused by aging, exposures to loud noises, and certain medical conditions and other factors. And that 30 million number is significantly underreported. There are people who suffer from mild cases of lack of hearing, and for them, because they don't have a primary care physician, they can't report it. They can't document it. So this stuff is beyond the scope of reporting. The authorization of the over-the-counter hearing aid software advance is the availability, accessibility, and acceptability of hearing support. Tavener said in 2022, the health regulators approved the sale of over-the-counter hearing aids that allowed adults with mild to moderate hearing impairments to access hearing aids directly from stores or online retailers without the need for medical exams, prescriptions, or seeing an audiologist. Apple Hearing Aid features authorized on Tuesday is a software-only mobile medical application and is set up for using iOS devices. Like an iPhone, and users' hearing levels are accessed from the iOS Health Kit to customize the feature. So it's good to know that since 2022, they've had approved over-the-counter things, which covers one of the points that I was going to make, which is when people have this form of disability or impaired hearing, it's not as easy as just getting hearing aids. You have to go find a primary care. You need to be given a special audit or a special consultation to an audiologist, and then from there, prescriptions, drugs, and probably even more further tests. So it's very cool to see since 2022, this thing being dealt with over the counter is great. I think the part that is super interesting is that it can be done through software. So there's a part of me that immediately asks, if you have hearing aids, can you trick them out to work on your iPhone? Can you trick them out to be compatible with an iOS system? Especially for our category, I think an API call out that would help someone adjust their head hearing aids via their phones would be probably amazing, if not already something on the books. I don't deal with iOS software, but it begs the question, how is this going to be handled? The second thing that, like I said, this is a great thing. Apple's a trash bag company, but you got to give them their flowers when they doing standing on business. We appreciate it when they stand on business. But one thing that I'm terribly concerned about is, how do they handle the states where it is against the law to drive with perceived headphones on? There are many states where you can't drive with headphones in. And now that this has been deemed an actual assistance in hearing, how do officers discern these things? There needs to be rules and regulations that follow this. This is usually the problem with new tech advances. They don't really cover. Nowhere in the article did they mention how the states or the federal government would handle. I doubt federal governments don't pull people over for moving violations, but states need to come up with contingency plans to handle this. Second, since this software is deemed to be used for medical purpose, usually when software or equipment are made with medical purposes, they have to come with the medical grade approval. What do I mean by that? For example, when we choose to put in a new hip for somebody, we don't just use the cheapest parts we can find, because presumably those parts have to survive in you for a lifetime. Long when you've turned to dust, that part should still remain. Like if something as important as a pacemaker, something as important as, insulin pumps and insulin tractors. These are all things that if they are not accurate, if they have a mislap, they break down, it costs people their lives. So is Apple in turn creating medical grade equipment? I mean, What is the battery life going to look like on a device like this? Can you use it in conjunction with other things? There's so many questions I have about this that weren't really answered in this article, but I'm assuming the FDA gave the approval testing these questions. They're probably thinking, "Oh, Hero, no one's thinking like, oh no, the CDC is pretty thorough," but it begs the question: if this is going to be the new wave, what other products could be introduced into a health aspect? I mean, we have the Apple Watch, which I think saved a guy who was having fibrillation and awkward heartbeat. Saved him. Gave his current location to his wife, so the wife could call and check and send people to go check up on him at work. So there are practical reasons for this, but I'm very much interested in the edge cases, because as a person who this doesn't directly affect, the people who it will be affecting, we need to make sure we're advocating for them accordingly. But that's just me being the hero. Clap it. Tell me what you want to do this weekend. Like, share, subscribe. Do that today though. See you guys.